Alright, this is,
It's not on, is it?
yeah, it's on now. Alright, this is, me, Sean McNerney, and, Akil James from SIXDAWG. This is the SIXDAWG Fan Forum. I'm here with, Mr. Akil Yeti James. We're here to reminisce about, SIXDAWG days past. And, Yeti, I'm gonna turn it over to you. My first question in this interview will be, how and when did SIXDAWG start?
Well, this interview, finally, the fans, and for you, Sean, and whoever else may be watching out there in Facebook land or whatever. When did SIXDAWG start? I would say, I believe it was sometime in late '96. Like I know the band kind of formed from the ashes of Scarred. I know that Scarred was still up and running in spring. Who wouldn't? Yeah, I know Scarred was still in existence in the spring of '96. So at some point after that, in the same year, SIXDAWG took shape.
Thank you, Akil. Yeah, I think that gives us, oh wait, excuse me. Yeah, moving right on. Alright, Akil, now you've been in the band since pretty much its inception. Tell me, who was in the original lineup?
Let me think back to it. I think it was me, perhaps Mr. Ray, on bass, and Mr. Ed Roddy from the guitar. A long time ago. Very young.
All right, very cool. Now listen, there's been a lot of banter back and forth about what SIXDAWG's sound actually it is. Some people say it's kind of metal, some people say it's kind of punk, some people say it's kind of a mishmash of the two. Yeti, what would you say is the type of sound that you guys have?
C, mishmash. That, you know, only one of us likes or some of us likes, so all different things get thrown in there. You know, mixed up, stewed, 2 hours. And then that's just what it's in.
All right. Now listen, who are some of your influences, your musical influences?
Bands, or like as far as drumming wise, or whatever? Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Brandon. Yes. I guess for me, like TikTok is more Metallica, of course.
Pretty well-rounded explanation, I feel. What do you remember about the recording of SIXDAWG's American Mutt album? We're taking it back a little while. We're taking it back a few years. I would say one of the most successful SIXDAWG albums, American Mud. What do you recollect about the making that piece of SIXDAWG history?
Good question. Well, first of all, I do remember that it sold billions of copies. Not thousands, not millions, sold billions.
Billions. Some might even say trillions, but hey.
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's going to count, you know?
We stopped counting after 1 billion. Right. Yeah, the making of. Well, I know we recorded at Primetime Studios in Pelham, New York. The original location. I know they moved at some point. Another Mount Vernon. They moved to Yonkers for a while, but in Pelham. Yeah, Tarek and the boys. Artie was in there. No. Dylan. I forgot his name. But it's kind of hazy, but I remember at the time we were very focused. Listen to the CD today, as a matter of fact, just to brush up on my history a little bit. And I haven't heard it for a long, long time. What I noticed about the recording is that it's very tight, surprisingly. Very focused sounding. It was interesting that we had no guitars at the time. Good question. I don't even know. It was me. I played guitars on that. In case any of the fans didn't know, it's a little trivia. I play guitar as well as drums on the American Mud recording.
Now what happened at the guitarist?
I do not remember. He's probably killed or some kind of accident or something.
Maybe he couldn't make it to the studio.
Something happened, right. We had no guitarist, but despite all that, the recording is pretty good. Holds up to this day. I'm very surprised. There's a song on that recording I was just telling Sean earlier that I didn't remember called, what was it? Sincere.
Sincere. We were talking about Sincere.
It's like a mid-tempo rocker. I don't know who wrote it. Maybe Monsignor, an ex-member of the band. I'm not sure. I'm sure Keith wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good recording. We were very focused, like I said, a million times already. I think we recorded over a few days, maybe. Something like that, or a few different sessions. I'm not sure. Who knows? Am I going on too long?
No. That's very cool. No, like a lot of the stuff you were saying was very far out, and I dig it. Like what you're saying, because it takes me back. It takes me back to those days. Some of those days were a little hazy, but I remember what you're saying. Like snippets. Some are very poignant, especially how you explain it now, because now I'm seeing the motivation behind it.
Right.
So it's kind of like I'm getting a different perspective, and the fans too, as is pretty much what I am, is just a big, huge SIXDAWG fan. They're getting that perspective. They're getting that little trivia. I didn't know you did the guitars on that, and that's very cool. That's very cool. Oh, please do.
I'd like to give thanks to our friend Anthony. I think it's Anthony Cumia, friend of Keith's, friend of the band's, and he lent us his guitar for the session, as a matter of fact. So I'd like to thank him years later for that. He was there when we recorded it. He was a good guy. Tarek was on hand in the studio. Artie was in there lending some suggestions and manning the equalizers on the board and everything. Did a great job.
Thank you, Akil, and a big thank you to Anthony from Akil Yeti James. Now, Yeti, there's been some discussion about this next question. It's a little controversial. It goes back to the '99 SIXDAWG lineup. Yeah. Listen, can you give me any thoughts on why that lineup did eventually dissolve?
It's a good question. I really don't know exactly. Part of my role in SIXDAWG was to stay out of the drama of SIXDAWG. I always say it would boil down to personality clashes between certain members. Maybe. I would say there's more personality differences and maybe a little bit artistic differences. Or maybe, you're right, 50-50. Now I'm thinking about it. I won't name names, but it was good for a while, and then it, like you said, dissolved, like an Alka-Seltzer when I go out to the water. Um, yeah, I don't want to get into it too much.
Well, hey, listen, we don't want to, open up old wounds.
Where I can get deadly.
All right, so let's, I don't want you to, anybody else have a problem.
Exactly.
Let's just move along to a little bit more of a
Good idea.
calmer line of questioning, shall we? Okay, so there you have it from a Yeti. That is why the 99 lineup dissolved. 50% artistic differences, 50% drama, which Mr. James was not interested in participating in. All right, so we're going to move right along here. Now, Yeti, how is songwriting in the band handled?
Songwriting. Well, mainly what happens is, someone will come in with a riff or a few riffs or an entire song and present to the band. It's mostly, I guess, we'd all throw in snippets here and there, on our own riffs, our own ideas. Pretty much keep it all the lyrics, when I can remember. So, it's a group effort, specifics, like who wrote what, or not that I can remember. Brand new. I think that's a Yeti gem. These people consider it a gem. And that's all I can remember, just the one that I wrote. No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Paul wrote some. I'm sure there's one that James wrote. That song, that big hit. I'm going blank. Uh-oh. Edit this part. It was a mishmash of everyone contributing, basically.
Thank you, Akil. Thank you. Now, speaking of SIXDAWG songs, what are some of your favorite SIXDAWG songs?
Someone, I hate this kind of questions. I cannot take just one. All the songs are dear to my heart on some level. Everyone loves Can't See Tomorrow. When Neil Slept is one of my favorites. It was a very fun song to play. There's just so many hits over the years that when you think back, to any just one, it's quite impossible.
Hey, I don't want to dredge up some big memories or traumatic experiences.
They all hold a special place in my heart. I'll just put it that way.
I'd say that's a fair answer. Okay. So, in that vein, in that line of questioning, what was your favorite SIXDAWG lineup?
It's another very touchy question.
Well, I think the fans want to know. Can you narrow it down? We'll go with the songs. Okay.
I don't have any one favorite lineup. I'm sorry. They all had their pros and cons. I don't like to.
Well, get into that. What would you say is the pros of one lineup versus the cons of another?
Please. Well, of course, the 99 lineup was very successful, but then it imploded. Right. The Martin / what's the other guy, Ray? Ray Grassi.
Yes.
That lineup too was very successful, then that imploded.
Well, I think the members of the page have a little insight as to what happened there.
They all implode, eventually.
That goes back to what you were saying earlier about 50% artistic difference.
Yeah.
50% dramatic difference. Maybe a little more ratio dramatic than artistic.
Right.
With that, but that's me as a.
I enjoyed all the lineups. I enjoyed, me when Ed Roddy and Ray. I enjoyed Monsignor. I enjoyed Young Timothy, another talented guitarist we had from way back. Young Tim. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting? I'm leaving out?
James.
Of course, James on bass. Buddha Paul.
Rochi.
Monsignor.
Roddy. Simmons never played.
Ronnie.
Roddy.
Oh yeah, Ed Roddy, yeah.
Ed Roddy. Someone's ever in the band with
Was that Brian Simmons?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think he was scarred.
Oh,
I think. I could be
Gene
wrong.
Simmons.
Oh, Gene Simmons? We had to kick his ass out. He was a little too controlling. I'm sorry, I cannot pick any one lineup that was my favorite, you know. I
Okay.
enjoyed them all at the time that they were happening.
So you enjoy being part of every lineup.
Of course, yes.
Is there anyone, just getting to that lineup, was there anyone that you clicked musically with? Maybe you had the same kind of like, I don't know, how do they say, je ne sais quoi, or, just that same sort of perspective, that musical perspective, that creative genius. Did- oh, okay. Yes, no?
Ed Roddy was a lot of fun to play with, especially.
Okay.
We used to like jam a lot in between songs.
Right.
You know, we clicked a lot, and actually we were in a band together years later called Man Machinery.
Right.
Yeah, he was just a lot of fun to play with. A very well-rounded guy.
Right.
He play any style of music. He's a great guitarist. Also a great bass player too. A lot of people don't know that. My senior was great as well. Like more of an old school guitarist. You know, he's quite a bit older than us. Like at least 3 decades older than us.
Right.
You know. So he brought like an older perspective to the band.
Would you say he was like Grand Funk Railroad meets,
Exactly.
Sex Pistols or something like that?
Yes, exactly.
Into that nature,
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw
You
that
hit it
out
right on the head.
Or,
Young Tim and I also clicked.
right.
You know. I clicked with everyone. Martin, we clicked. Ray, we clicked. Mr. Schenkenstein,
Yes.
we clicked.
Okay.
I also played in the band with him years later.
Yeah.
A few bands with him after SIXDAWG,
Okay. There
which
we
the fans may or may not know. So, you know,
That's okay. Yes, I would say that's an honest assessment. The man, I'm asking the hard-hitting questions here for Keel, but he's been pretty straight up. I'd have to say, yeah, in my knowledge, everything seems fairly on par. Okay. Please, Yeti, now explain for us how your departure from the band came about. Your departure from SIXDAWG. Now, this is a recent development. I don't know if the fans may or may not know that, but well, I'll let you explain, as only you really can perfectly, and for the fans, explain to them how that came about, and just a few of the ins and the outs. Fans want to know, man. Fans want to know what made Akil the beast, the bass drum beast, the furious fists of fury. What made him say, I don't know. You take it away. Hang up the stick.
maybe hang up my sticks. Well, what happened was, well, I didn't want to. It was a combination of some health problems that arose, some financial problems, some personal problems, all kind of coalesced into me having to step out of the bands. As some fans may or may not know, I developed tendonitis in my shoulders in the last few years, which has hindered me from playing, on a full-time basis. Please,
okay,
please.
It's okay. This is a healing moment.
Yes. So yeah, the medical issues. I was laid off from my job a year ago. So the money well dried up. So I had to focus on my personal life basically in the last year and a half. And unfortunately, that means I'm not able to give as much time as I'd like to the bands. I wish I could be there. I'm still here, and I wish I could play, but I can't. If things change and I'm able to, it's a miracle. If I get an arm surgery, get 2 new arms attached or something, then I'll be back. But until then, I'm kind of, floating around here on the sidelines.
All right, you heard it from Akil, here in spirit and wishing for cybernetic arms to continue playing with his favorite band in the world, SIXDAWG. It brings a tear to my eye. But, you know, this is life, and we all have to trudge on. We only hope that, you know, the technology advances, medical technology advances, and we can get those cybernetic arms for Yeti so he can play drums faster than a drum machine, if possible. Okay, now, Yeti, I'm going to change the subject a little bit. Go a little to the darker side of the dog, if you will. Well, that was kind of light fluff, but now we're getting into the darker stuff. I mean, you know, that was kind of like the tear-jerker type stuff, but now we're getting into the darker dimension of SIXDAWG. The fourth dimension, possibly? Yeti. The fans want to know, why did the song, album, Boners and Bitches, never get released?
Would you like to answer that question, sir? Being watched by the fuzz. It's a band. It's just a local band.
Oh, so chasing us out?
It's not a problem. We'll continue somewhere else.
All right, so being chased out. This interview is going to have to be paused for the moment. The authorities have been summoned. Apparently, Akil is his information was a little too amazing to be coped with. So, all right, we're going to resume this elsewhere.